5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Beautiful looking Wednesday morning. Thank you for tuning in to The Source this morning. Gosh, it's just a nice looking day. Mid-70s today is the temperatures, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, that's today, tomorrow, all the way through Monday, I think, is what I was looking at.
It's gorgeous.
So that change in weather on the West Coast out in California, I wonder if that's going to reach us. I wonder if in a week or so we're going to see cold weather again. Mm-hmm. Because they're getting cold weather today sometime, right? Out in California.
Right. Uh-huh.
On the phone is Terry Arnold. I'm going to meet Terry for the first time. She is a survivor of triple-negative inflammatory breast cancer. We'll find out what that is. She's the founder of the IBC Foundation. IBC, of course, stands for Inflammatory Breast Cancer. She's the lead volunteer on founding the Fort Bend County Rape Crisis Program and the founding member of the Laura Recovery Center for Missing Children. And Robin put a note here that her favorite title is Nana.
I love that. That's my favorite part.
My favorite title is Dad. I can relate to that. She wants to talk to us about inflammatory breast cancer. And also, there's something happening here in Ocala on March 3rd. It's an Ocala Wedding and Events Expo. It's a fundraising event for the IBC, for the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Foundation. And that'll be on Thursday, March 3rd at Beautiful Moments Party Rental. It's right near the airport, right?
Yep.
Over there. And so we'll find out about that as well. Terry Arnold. Good morning, Terry. How are you?
Good morning.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm actually outside of Houston, Texas.
You're in Houston.
Nice.
Are you coming to Ocala?
I'm not going to get to be at this one. They set this before I knew, and so I can't be there. I wish I could. I'm going to come and visit another time.
Oh, wow. Have you ever been here in Florida at all?
I have. We have a really interesting history with Florida. A young woman at the clinic at MD Anderson was named after the Morgan Welch Clinic, was a Florida resident.
Oh, is that right?
That was her hometown. It was your area. The world gets really small.
So you're a Nana? You don't sound like a Nana. You sound you sound young.
I have a face for radio.
Yeah, me too. Terry, what is triple-negative inflammatory breast cancer? That sounds really scary.
It does sound scary. And honestly, when I found out I was triple negative, I thought that was a good thing. That was negative for something. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
I'll start with the inflammatory part. Inflammatory breast cancer is a type of cancer that doesn't normally have a lump, and skin changes. And so women will have a little, what they think is an injury or a little boo-boo, like maybe one breast swelled a little bit, or they have a hot place on their breast, like maybe you think, okay, I've got a little rash starting. Those are actually signs of cancer, and it's a more unusual, rare form, which is a good thing. It's kind of scary to think that, something we could dismiss as an injury could actually be cancer. Also, it's a little bit scary about this disease is a mammogram won't pick it up. It's webby and diffused like cotton candy, so it shoots right through it. Typically, you mentioned the Nana part, I was diagnosed at 49, but most women who get this disease are young.
Really?
They're well under mammogram age. So we've got this test that doesn't really work for us, and we're not old enough for, and doesn't really, happen. The triple negative part is how the hormones feed your cancer, and you hear more about triple negative now that Joan London's been diagnosed. What happens with women with inflammatory, about 40% of us overlap, and we have both. It's almost like having two really nasty diseases at the same time. The survival rate is very poor, and one of the reasons I tell my story a lot is I always say, knock wood, spoiler alert, I didn't die. It's been 8 years since I was diagnosed, and there's hope. But we need to talk about this. It's trivially viewed as an orphan form of breast cancer. And women like Heather, who's putting together this event, are trying to bring this into conversation every day.
Okay.
And she's using this Bridal Expo as a way to do that.
When you found out that when you got the diagnosis, did you adapt a mindset that you were going to defeat it? I guess I'm asking kind of a dopey question because I guess everybody wants to defeat a disease when they're told they have it. But I'm just curious if my question, maybe the question is awkward, but maybe there's an answer I don't expect. What happened to you internally when you got that message, that news?
Well, it's interesting you would ask that because sometimes people have this resolve. They make, Team Terry and they, put on the pink party. And to some extent, there was a little of that in my mind. But what happened with me, and it happens commonly with women, and I can imagine it's even worse for younger. At least with me being older, they were at least thinking about maybe you should get more mammograms or whatever. I woke up one morning, one was different. It wouldn't quite fit in the bra, and I thought I'd hurt myself.
Wow.
And I went to the doctor the very next day, and he said, oh, you've got a little infection, take this, it's going to take several weeks, but you'll be fine. Well, what he didn't know is I was already stage 3. At first symptom, you're already stage 3. There's not a lot of time to fool around. So, I'm going off, taking my, little low-dose antibiotic, waiting for this infection to go away. Keeps getting worse, going back to many doctors. Long story short, 4 months later, I was finally diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer. Now, think about it. I'm already stage 3, so we don't have a lot of time to fool around.
Yeah.
When I got my diagnosis, I was told that diagnosis, because of the severity of the disease and also the delay, that I probably wouldn't live very long. They gave me the impression it would be just a few months.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
It was pretty brutal. You go from being told there's nothing wrong, to, oh my gosh, you're a building on fire, with nothing in the middle. And that's very common. So it's kind of hard for women sometimes to have that resolve, that you might think you would have with an earlier diagnosis.
So I see. Yeah. So you could easily have been, and maybe you were defeated. You could have taken on, oh my gosh, I got to start putting my will together and.
Oh, absolutely. One of the first things I did is I updated my will, and I bought a funeral plot, and I got all those things ready. But then the second day, I went straight to MD Anderson and said, and I literally scared my doctor, because I said, chop me up and figure this out.
Wow.
This shouldn't happen to anybody. I don't understand how this happened. I have no breast cancer in my family. I was healthy. I was not overweight. I nursed 5 babies, so you think that gives your breast some protection, nursing. And so, I really wanted to know what this was and how could I help. And there, I was actually given some hope. It turns out the Florida girl I mentioned, Morgan Welch, there was a clinic developed, the first in the world, open to inflammatory breast cancer, was opened in 2006. And it was named for Morgan Welch, a young girl from Florida. And she was diagnosed at 24 and didn't make it long. And Morgan so impressed the doctors at MD Anderson. They said, we want to devote a clinic to this. So I feel a connection to Florida because of her and her inspiration on people. They there told me, we think we can get you 18 months. And I thought, gosh, 18 months sounds really good. So that's when my resolve really grew, that maybe I stood a chance of living. My biggest concern was what could happen that might save somebody else.
So
they gave me that resolve.
So what did you? Did you do any of the things you always hear about? Chemo and radiation therapy, and then you also hear like the holistic stuff, the herbs and the exercise, or
yeah.
Did you do any of those? And what is your report after going through all of that?
Well, it's interesting because I don't want to throw holistic things out. I think there's a place for complementary, treatments and stuff like that, but. Instantly, my inbox filled up on my email of the cure.
Oh, really?
And don't do chemo, and it's poison, and I am literally a building on fire. I have got so much cancer all over. I'm triple negative IBC. It turns out the other breast also had cancer. I had nodes all up in my neck going to my brain. I was really in trouble. And so someone would tell me to drink lemon water every day. Somehow that just didn't seem
feasible.
So when you say you had it all over your body, did it metastasize? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
I was technically never stage 4, and I make that line very clear because there are strong differences, but I was not a stage 4 by the skin of my teeth. That stuff was going up in my body. Inflammatory can often skip around and not go bone, lung, liver like we're told. It can often go just straight to your brain, and that's what mine was doing. But no, I was technically a stage 3.
And throughout this, you found passion for other people. When you founded the IBC Foundation, you raised funds for clinical trials, but then you also have something in there that says translational science research. What is that?
Well, what we found out was inflammatory breast cancer is truly an orphan form of cancer. It's actually labeled by the government orphan because they think there's only 5,000 new cases a year. And think about it. If you're going to fund research, and you've got $1 and you can help 100 people, or you've got $1, you might help 2. You're going to put it to where you're going to have the bigger bang. I get that. But my mentality is, if your house catches on fire, we don't say, well, it's really too bad. We still send the fire truck. To me, because inflammatory is so fatal, that pulls it out of a place that it needs attention. And when I was going through my treatment, I realized we don't know what earlier stage than 3 looks like because we don't have any science for it. We're not studying it. There's no money for it. And so because when we're finding me and saying, I have this, I heard you lived, what did you do? Like you said, the lemon water or the Resolve or the whatever. And I just did what they told me to do, and they put me through a brutal series of treatment that, I survived and I healed from, and I'm good. And so I would just recommend that. And then I went to the doctor and said, what do you need? They go, we don't have money for basic science. I'm like, you're kidding. That's where the translational stuff gets in. So we fund basic science to help them have the what we call seed money, discovery money, so then they can have enough evidence to go forward for a larger grant with either the Department of Defense or the National Cancer Institute and say, okay, now we need $1 million to study something that might matter.
Wow.
Let's take a little break.
We also funded our... Okay, go ahead.
Terry Arnold is our guest right now, speaking to us from Texas, you said, right? Houston?
Yes, sir.
Houston, Texas. Okay. We'll be right back. We've got an event that we want to make sure you know about, because if you've paid attention to what Terry was saying, there's an easy way to help at the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo happening on March 3rd. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. This is WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, looking nice, plenty of sunshine between a few patchy clouds, the high 72 to 75. Then clear skies overnight tonight, low 43 to 53. For tomorrow, mostly sunny, a breezy afternoon with a high of 67 to 71. And on Friday, nice with plenty of sunshine between patchy clouds and a high of 70 to 74. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire.
Because that's how exotic it is.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA. All right, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. There's hope that one day we will we humans will figure out a way to defeat cancer. And it is interesting. Well, let me go back to Terry. I want her to comment on this. Terry Arnold is our guest. She is a survivor of triple negative inflammatory breast cancer. She explained it so well. If you did not catch it, we will put this interview up on the Facebook.
And the YouTube channel.
And the YouTube channel, sorry. I know the two things. It's not like I'm stumbling over it because I'm doing two things at once. So sorry. I know what Facebook is. Before someone thinks, oh my God, it must be new to him. Terry, you know what I want to tell you?
What's that?
We do a lot of interviews, Robin and I. And so many of them are authors who are also doctors who have written books, who do say things that make you believe, very believable things. The one that really comes to mind right off the bat, and if you're a regular listener to the show, you know that I even tried it on my dog when my dog was old and had cancerous tumors on her, or at least they look like cancers. I don't know. She's no longer with us, but we had a doctor who said that baking soda could kill cancer.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, wouldn't that be great? And think about it. People say sometimes the pharmaceutical companies are hiding the cure. I think about Steve Jobs had more money than God. If anyone could have afforded to buy the cure, I think it would have been him. And I think we would just really want to not think it's that scary and think there's some magic whatever that would make it go away.
But then you hear
I would love to think that.
But you hear stories like from who's the pretty actress, Robin, from Three's Company? What was her name?
Suzanne Summers.
Remember
Suzanne Summers.
And she had a story where she used some alternate method or something, and she came out of it fine.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I could say, okay, it's because I drink an iced coffee every day I didn't die. We don't know why I didn't die. We don't know why Suzanne Summers didn't die. We don't know why. It could be just some random luck that they didn't, but we see many who do, and so I think we can balance science and we can also bring in some common sense that could be good. But my big thing is about inflammatory is literally this is not talked about, and young women don't stand much of a chance between the silence over the disease, lack of early detection. Typically they're too young to be tested anyway. And so we can know these outward signs and symptoms, be a little smarter than most of our friends. And that way, if something does come up, we go, oh, I know what to do. I know how to help. I know where to go to get information. And then together we can collectively win and get somewhere on it. And my deal is I didn't write a book. I didn't go on the speaker circuit. I started a charity. I read it full-time as a volunteer. I raise money, and I flip it into research as fast as I can. Yeah. And we're at $500,000 now. In 3 years into research.
One of the points that I found interesting was that you're able to give chemotherapy to women who are pregnant and the child won't be harmed. That was just absolutely amazing to me.
Fascinating thought. Indy Anderson spearheaded that about 20 years ago, and once the woman is about 7 weeks, they can safely give chemotherapy. And the babies are born with a full head of hair, with a bald mom. And so, it's just kind of good to know. To me, those are very hopeful things. And I am a person of hope. I want people, when they hear my message, not to go, wow, that was scary. I'm sorry I heard that. I want them to go, I'm smarter now, and that woman gave me hope. And that's what I hope they take away from me.
That's amazing.
Earlier this month, I think it was more than a week ago, there was a story about Vice President Joe Biden kicking off a campaign to eradicate cancer. I'm looking for
moonshot.
They called it moonshot. Yes, do you remember that? I can't remember how much time. I'm looking for it real quick. So when you see stuff like that, I don't know if it's just a politician doing something that there's nobody going to be against that one. that's a good one.
Really, I know that's a great throwdown rhetoric.
And of course, he lost his son.
He lost a child to cancer. He's been through a lot. And some might say, well, it's just some really great throwdown political rhetoric, but also sometimes those thoughts take action. Yeah. And I would love to see, a really concise action to coordinate research, to make sure that more money goes to research. A lot of the money doesn't really go to research. It goes to education and awareness, which is great, but also, or to me, where the rubber really hits the road is how much of your budget goes to research. That's where we're going to get
That's it.
somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
So we do have a fun part of this conversation before we run out of time. Let's talk about the event happening here. It's going to be March 3rd.
It's a Thursday.
And that's what time? What time is it, Robin?
5 o'clock to 8:30.
5 to 8:30. Okay. And what is it? What is the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo? What's going to happen there?
One of the young women in the area, Heather Ranger Wright, does bridal expos, and she has a very good friend who was diagnosed young, stage 4 IBC, and was very inspired by her, and decided that her bridal expo, she wanted to have with corporate responsibility wing of it, and have this cause touted, have interactive learning things there. So when people come and, they're doing their bridal things and doing all these fun things, it's just a way of women talking to women. And I think it's just a really, really great way to bring in some education at a really fun event, and they're kicking back a percentage of the profit to research.
Robin, do you have the information about is the cost to get into this? How does this raise money, actually?
No, it's
if you could find it.
Well, when you walk in the door, we're going to charge you $1 billion.
Oh, that ought to cure it. That ought to cure everything.
That'll do it. So actually, there's a small fee to attend, and there's all kinds of prizes that you can win. And then what's going to happen is at that event, some of the proceeds will come back to us. But there's going to be like 60 vendors, and you can do all your bridal shopping or quinceaneras or whatever, and that's what's going to be. It's going to be a really fun event.
Okay, it says here the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo venues would be catering, cakes, confections, health, beauty, fitness, photography, videography, entertainment, lighting, linens, rentals, tents, floral decor, bridal couture. What does that mean, Robin?
Clothing.
Clothing?
It means expensive.
Formal wear. So what's the difference? Formal wear, that's for the men, and couture is for the ladies?
We want you to look good, yes.
Is this a new word, couture?
Couture.
How did I live 61 years and not see this word?
Couture by Alicia.
Larry, it might be new to you, kind of like Facebook, right?
Yeah. It's newer than Facebook, actually.
But the grooms to be and their part and their end of the world are invited also to come, because they're going to have a special places. They're going to have a special man cave for where they go to indulge.
What are they watching, TV?
They have a TV set there for them.
This is the reputation men have. Men have this reputation. Here's a little hole here with a TV in it, and by the way, don't smoke.
It's going to be a really fun event, and I just thought it was really sweet that Heather contacted us and said, we really want to do this in your honor.
Oh, absolutely,
because her friend Allison was diagnosed triple-negative IBC at stage 4 when she was maybe 40, and just now completed her radiation. And so she said, I'm inspired. I'm going to take my community and educate my community, and that is just an amazing thing. That's a gift.
By the way, I don't know how well you know Beautiful Moments, but and this isn't a plug necessarily for them, but they are just a really great group of people. They've helped out with so many parties that we've been a part of. So,
oh yeah.
Well, that's perfect.
Since you are a mom and a nana, are your children and grandchildren, are they afraid that this might be hereditary and they might get it, and are they doing anything to go for mammograms and testing earlier than they normally would?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because it turns out that they don't know of any genetic mutation with IBC, but they do know there is a genetic mutation that feeds breast cancer. We've all heard about Angelina Jolie, and that's brought the BRCA gene conversation kind of into everyday community life. And it turns out, even though I have no family history of breast cancer, or almost no cancer at all, I do carry the BRCA mutation. And I have 5 children, and my oldest daughter, kind of joke, got the short straw, and she also carries that mutation, and she's 31. So she is being monitored closely for her health.
Terry, thank you for being on the air with us. We are out of time, but we will continue to promote the expo. You continue with your great work, and one day we'll have a conversation with you where you say, guess what? It's cured. We're done. We don't need to worry about it anymore.
I look forward to that day. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And we'll share this video. You'll be able to, Robin will tell you in just a second. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. The empire of Apple bites back as CEO Tim Cook defies the FBI and a court order.
Cook posted an open letter to customers on Apple's website early this morning, saying the judge's ruling sets a dangerous precedent and has implications far beyond the legal case at hand. Part of the letter says they have asked us to build a backdoor to the iPhone. Saeed Farouk left the phone behind when he and his jihad bride, Tashfeen Malik, shot and killed 14 people back in December.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. Cook's defiance is being applauded by digital privacy advocates. Donald Trump maintains his lead heading into Saturday's GOP South Carolina primary.
A new CNN ORC poll out just yesterday gives Trump a 16-point lead over his closest opponent. Trump's